All right, so this is my first workout back after taking about 2 weeks or so off. So I am really going for a nice and easy, getting the body back into it, making sure I'm focused on muscle activation. So lateral band walking is fantastic. I actually didn't bring my heavier black band with me. Activates the gluteus maximus and medius, making sure my hips are firing, that I'm not going to be quad dominant during my squats because that's a huge problem. I always do this to start. I usually use heavier or double up on bands. And if you see me looking down at all, usually you want to look straight ahead. But if you see me looking down, it's because I'm making sure my toes are pointing straight ahead and the mirror that's in front of me doesn't go all the way down to the floor. So sometimes it's hard to see. And then I follow up with some dynamic stretching afterwards. So this is great for focusing on alternating hip flexibility. One's flexed while one's extended, while I'm gearing up with thoracic rotation. And same thing here, locking the hips in place in a different position in a extremely deep flex position while I'm working on thoracic mobility and rotation. And this was hurting my shoulder before, my left shoulder before, because it was irritated from just overtraining, but it's been feeling pretty good. And after doing more yoga, it felt good during that stretch, so I'm pretty pumped about that. And just here, I'm getting the sympathetic nervous system turned on a little bit more. I did some cardio to warm up, and now I'm just getting some actual reps in. And one of the most important things to do before legs is to actually perform the movement. So you got some general warm up, and then you have a specific warm up, and that is what you saw. You saw more general movements, followed up into more specific with the actual squat, bodyweight air squat itself, and here we go. I only did about 3 to 4 or 5 sets. I'm not going to show each individual set, but as you can see here, my heels are staying flat. My upper torso from my hips to my shoulder is parallel with my shin, my ankle to my knee, and that is perfect alignment, in my opinion, if I do say so myself. I am absolutely keeping my stomach drawn in, and I'm working on driving the glutes up and forward and visualizing in my head, sucking the knees up into the quads. And here is a little bit more of a narrower stance, and my knees are bowing out, kind of like a Tom Platt style squat. I really like these for getting the glutes more involved. And I really have a very minimal, if any, butt wink tucking under at the bottom. Really been focusing on flexibility. I usually don't do squats in sneakers, just so I can isolate and exacerbate and expose any kind of compensations, because the heel elevated with the squats, with the shoes, can be sometimes deceiving. But this is my Vibrams, and my barefoot shoes were dirty and they stank, so decided to wear these today. For the stiff legs, always recommend keeping the chin tucked in, looking straight down, loading the midfoot. Don't go too much to the heel. Don't go too much to the ball of the foot. Keep the weight right in the midfoot. And I like to hang my arms straight down, not so much dragging the bar against the shins. Because if you hang the bar straight down and just let it limp with gravity, you will drive the hips back more. It'll keep you more honest and more loaded on the hamstrings rather than just pulling the weight close to your body. If you pull the bar close, you're actually activating different muscles. You're not focusing as much on the hamstring and the glutes. So just let the bar hang and then drive your hips back in order to create that balance. In terms of the chest press, I went super light, as you can see. Well, for me, 50 and 60 pounds is very, very light. And I was drawing my stomach in, squeezing my glutes, really packing the shoulders. And what that means is pulling the shoulder blades back and retracting, pulling them down, as if you're putting your shoulders in your back pockets. And I'm really focusing on nice, slow, easy movements, because my left shoulder has been bothering me big time as of late for whatever reason, something I did. So I was just going very light and slow, about 3 or 4 sets there, and then on to the one-arm dumbbell row. And I usually like doing it off the rack. Had a little trouble figuring out where to put my hand today, but I like the angle. I like really kind of in a pounced position. On the bench, sometimes I feel a little bit imbalanced depending on the height of the bench, but when I go from the rack itself, I feel like I could really get into it in terms of stability and also just the angle of pull. I just sometimes wish that I was a little bit more elevated off the ground so I can extend a little bit with my arm. And as you can see, I go a little bit forward with the row just to get a little bit more action with the lat. So I reach forward a little bit, and whenever I do it on a bench, I try to reach forward as I go down. That way I get a little bit more stretch on the lat, get a little bit more of the lower lat. This is where I really was super careful. That's only 15 pounds, and I can, very readily do 30, 35 plus. But I went super light because my left shoulder, obviously, like I've been mentioning, has been bothering me. So I went super light, nice and controlled, no pain. So I was really pleased with that, nice and easy, and a very basic alternate curl. So these are really very fundamental exercises, and I've been hitting every single muscle group up to this point. Shoulders, biceps. This is very simple. This is 20 pounds in the picture. I went 15, 20, and then I went 25. I might have done a set or two with 30. And then triceps here, keeping the bar super close to my body. It's hard to tell from this angle, but I was dragging it up the stomach, keeping the elbows back to take pressure off the tendon. And I did 2 or 3 sets, got a little burn. The most important thing is not to do too much to failure. Thanks for watching. This is a very basic total body workout. Hope you enjoyed.